Okay. Um, Hello again. I was not planning on doing 2 videos today, but something kept nagging at me about TWAS. I pulled the Tyr card from an oracle deck that I have, but TWAS is Tyr's rune, and there is a message of intentions and consequences that keeps coming in. Okay, anyone that's familiar with divination and these types of practices, intentions are very important. It's the first step, intention setting. However, intentions are a pebble in a pond, and the waves are the consequences. And sometimes that little pebble can cause a much bigger wave than intended, and I don't know how to word this. We can sometimes use our intention as a crutch to avoid accountability. So Tyr's story really tells this. Just shorthand. There's a lot of information and people out there with more details on the story and might have a more complete retelling of it. But the story of Tyr and Fenrir is, to the best of my knowledge anyway, is that Tyr really was raising Fenrir. Sorry, this keeps shaking. And he was raising him almost like a son, and then the Aesir had to essentially tie up Fenrir because he was going to grow too big, and to do so they had to deceive him. And Tyr offered to put his hand in Fenrir's mouth as proof that or I don't know if it's proof, but as a good gesture of, Fenrir said, if you're going to deceive me, I want some collateral, basically. And that's kind of what Tyr did with his hand. And so, of course, he was deceived. He bit off Tyr's hand. And the intention that I feel there was that by showing that good faith, Tyr was maybe hoping, maybe he had an intention that Fenrir would be able to forgive him. It would be able to forgive this act of deception. It would be okay. And it wasn't. It damaged their relationship throughout the entire story. Though in the end they did not fight each other, so there was clearly still some hurt feelings, but not necessarily hatred. It was just uncomfortable, not able to deal with it in this lifetime. So intentions and consequences. When we set an intention, we are not free of consequences, and our intentions also do not decide what the consequence is going to be. You can have the best of intentions and still, cause harm. So if you're seeing this, you might typically be watching tarot videos and things like that, and I've done that as well. And just kind of keep in mind, if you're making those videos or watching them, that no matter what the person's intention is and what your intention is, the consequence can be harmful. And if something's not good for your mental health, it's important to put it on pause, get away from it for a bit, take a bath, go outside, get out of the intention space. It's like, okay, you set your intention, now what's next? What's the next thing? That's very much what I am getting from this. Okay. Is there anything else? This light here, based on where Tyr's body is, this light coming from hit the side of his shield, it could be from the root. So grounding is very important. You know, intention setting is important, but it is only the first step. And it's important to ground in that intention, and when you can, just really think about the consequences that may ripple out from that, and have an acceptance that you're going to have to take accountability no matter what the consequence is, even if it wasn't one that you foresaw. And that's also how we take accountability for our own lives. And instead of reaching out for someone to give us the answers, you know, we already know what the answer is. We just don't want to accept it. That's pretty much why we get stuck. So there's an importance here of grounding for sure. Okay, I think that's about it. I'm not really getting anything else. All right, well, I hope that that made sense. I know it was a little clunky. My throat has been giving me some issues. But thank you for watching.